April 6th, 2026, Lucas Oil Stadium, Indianapolis. The confetti is still falling. The nets are already down. And standing under the basket, not celebrating, not pumping his fist, just watching, is a 49-year-old coach from Bloomfield, Indiana. A man who 2 years ago walked into one of college basketball's most storied programs and inherited an 8-24 disaster. 2 years, from last place to national champion. If that sounds familiar, it should, because this isn't the first time it's happened. Not even close. Let's go back to the beginning, because to understand what just happened in Indianapolis, you have to understand what happened in Bloomington first. Indiana football. For decades, one of the most reliably mediocre programs in the Big Ten. A program that hadn't won a conference title in over 60 years. A sleeping giant that had simply given up dreaming. Then in 2023, they hired Curt Cignetti. Nobody called it a marquee hire. Cignetti was 63 years old. He'd been at James Madison, a program that wasn't even in the FBS 4 years earlier. The analytics said he was a builder. The traditional media shrugged. What they missed was the formula. Cignetti didn't recruit high school kids like a blue blood. He targeted the transfer portal so specifically. He found players who were underutilized at their previous school, players who were hungry, players who fit his culture, not just his depth chart. In year one, Indiana went 11-1. Year two, Big Ten champions, college football playoff. The college football world lost its mind. How does this happen? How does a 63-year-old coach with no Power 5 pedigree walk into a program and win immediately? Turns out, someone was watching. Michigan basketball, March 2024. Coming off their worst season in modern program history. 8 wins, 24 losses. A fan base that felt embarrassed. They fired Juwan Howard, a Michigan legend, a decision that hurt to make and hurt to watch. Then athletic director Ward Manuel made a phone call to Boca Raton, Florida. Dusty May had spent 6 years at Florida Atlantic, building something nobody believed in. He'd taken the Owls to the 2023 Final Four from Conference USA, a league most casual fans couldn't name. He'd done it with transfers, with culture, with precision. He was 47 years old, born in Terre Haute, Indiana, raised in Bloomfield, Indiana, a town of less than 3,000 people. He had been a student manager at Indiana University under Bob Knight. 2 Indiana guys, no flashy pedigrees, no Power 5 resumes as head coaches, same blueprint. When Michigan hired him in March 2024, the reaction was cautious optimism at best. Within 12 months, he had tripled Michigan's win total. Within 24, he had a national championship banner. So what exactly is the formula? Because this isn't luck. This isn't coincidence. This is a system. College sports changed fundamentally in 2021 when the NCAA allowed unrestricted transfers. Suddenly, every player in America could move. Once a year, no side out required. Most programs panicked. The traditionalists complained. Some coaches couldn't adapt. Cignetti and May saw opportunity. The old model: spend years building a recruiting class out of high school kids. Hope they develop. Hope they stay. Hope your 5-star commit becomes the player his ranking said he was. The new model identified junior and senior level players who were used wrong at their previous school. Players who have college experience, physical maturity, and something to prove. Target them, offer them NIL, give them a role, build around them. Michigan's championship starting lineup this year was built entirely from the transfer portal. Every single starter had played college basketball somewhere else first. Yaxel Lindeborg from UAB, Ade Mara from UCLA, Elliot Cadeau from North Carolina, Morez Johnson Jr. from Illinois, and Amari Burnett from Alabama. Each one had been underutilized. Each one had potential that wasn't being maximized. Dusty May made them All-Americans, projected lottery picks. The key, and this is the part most programs miss, was fit. May said it himself. If you are worried about what portal rankings say, as opposed to whether a player fits what your program needs, you've already lost. Cignetti operates the same way. Not just who's available, who's right for us. Culture isn't a buzzword for these coaches. It's the filtering mechanism that makes everything else work. But there's another layer to this story, and it's the one that changes everything. NIL, name, image, and likeness. Since 2021, college athletes can be paid directly for their brand. And the schools that figured out how to use NIL strategically have a recruiting weapon that didn't exist 5 years ago. Axel Lindeborg was projected to be a late first-round NBA pick last spring. Draft advisors told him to go. Michigan's NIL offer told him to stay, not just with money, with development, with a promise to make him undeniably first round, not barely. He stayed. He became a consensus top 10 pick. He's a national champion. That's the NIL era done right. Not just spending money, investing money. Cignetti had the same approach at Indiana. He didn't try to outspend Alabama or Ohio State. He built a culture so compelling that players chose it over bigger NIL deals elsewhere. When you've built the right environment, NIL becomes a tool, not a crutch. Let's just look at what these two coaches actually did, because the numbers are almost poetic. Curt Cignetti, year 1 at Indiana, 11 wins and 1 loss. First Big Ten title in program history in over 60 years. Year 2, college football playoff. A program that had 1 winning season in the previous decade. Dusty May, year 1 at Michigan, 27 wins. Big Ten tournament title, Sweet 16. Year 2, 37-3. National champions, ending a 37-year drought. Michigan went from 8 wins to 37 wins in 2 seasons. Eight to 37. That doesn't happen. That's not supposed to happen. And yet, it happened once already. In Bloomington in football, the blueprint isn't a fluke. It's a repeatable model. There's one more thread in this story that we'd be wrong to ignore. Both of these coaches are from Indiana, not Indiana University. Indiana the state, the small towns, the high school gyms, the places where nobody hands you anything. Curt Cignetti built his career at small programs nobody paid attention to. Edinboro, West Virginia, Alabama, James Madison. He was patient. He refined the formula for decades before getting his Power 5 shot. Dusty May was a student manager at Indiana University. He got his first head coaching job at Florida Atlantic, a school most people couldn't find on a map. He spent 6 years making it matter. There's something about that upbringing, that chip, the knowledge that you have to be twice as smart and twice as prepared because the world isn't going to hand you the blue blood recruiting classes. You have to build smarter. And when the portal opened, when NIL arrived, coaches like Cignetti and May were uniquely positioned. They'd been building with limited resources for decades. Suddenly the resources arrived. The result was inevitable. So what does all of this mean? What does it tell us about where college sports is headed? It tells us the old gatekeeping is over. The idea that only Alabama, Ohio State, Kentucky, or Duke could win national titles, that required blue-chip recruiting classes, 5-star recruits, and decades of brand equity, that idea is dead. The portal democratized the talent pool. NIL democratized the financial competition. What's left? The last real competitive advantage is coaching, not just strategy, culture, player development, the ability to walk into a room full of transfers, players who've already been somewhere else, already been disappointed somewhere else, and make them believe. Cignetti does that, May does that, and here's what should scare the Blue Bloods. Both of these guys are just getting started. Dusty May is 49. He's committed to Michigan. The day after winning the national title, he started building his 3rd portal class at the school. Curt Cignetti is 65, and Indiana football is a destination now. The blueprint doesn't disappear, it compounds. On the night Michigan won its second national championship, only its second in 37 years, Dusty May stood under the basket and watched, not screaming, not sprinting across the floor, just watching. The kind of moment you let wash over you when you've worked your whole life for it and you know exactly what it cost. 2 Indiana guys. 2 programs that were broken, 2 years each. Same formula. The blueprint is real. The era has changed, and the coaches who understand it, who built it from nothing, out of necessity, those are the ones holding the trophy. Not the ones with the biggest brands, the ones with the best plan.